How did DRX beat the #1 seed of EMEA, Team Liquid? Now, DRX were probably the heavy underdogs coming into this match according to the wider community, and while I strongly disagreed with that, and I thought DRX were being heavily underrated coming into Champions, I also thought that Team Liquid would actually be the #1 team in this group, in Group C. And okay, DRX wins Abyss, which wasn't too shocking considering both these teams were held in high regard with how good their Abyss was, and DRX comes in with a brand new comp that they've prepared basically in secrecy. But what about Bind? Sure, DRX also has a fairly good record on Bind, but it's always been a little bit tipsy-turvy, and I mean, we all know Bind as Nats' home ground. So how did they do it? Now, some of you will point to this round and say, if it wasn't for that one mistake, then things would be different. And you know what? You're probably not wrong. But also, that one mistake, it happens all the time. The one clutch, the one ace, the one smoke spam, the one round. These are not reliable ways to win or lose a match. So, how did DRX put themselves in a position where they were able to get the lead and hold on to it? One large part was shutting down Nats' freedom on the map. GIANTX also showed a pretty similar understanding in their defenses during the grand finals of EMEA, but at the end of the day, DRX had a strong understanding on the potential lurks from Nats and ensured they had a multi-layered plan to shut it down. Alright, we're taking a look at round 16. DRX on the defense. Team Liquid currently up 9-6. And these 3 rounds will bring DRX up to the even scoreline. DRX had just given up the bonus on their second half. And so DRX, a little bit iffy on the buy. They have 3 rifles saved over. But otherwise, you're just going to have a Sheriff and a Classic here for Flashback. Now, if you take a look already, they're just, once again, deciding to give up that space nice and early in terms of that Viper screen over on A short, looking to try to go for a setup on Showers, and the 2 members on B will just be going for a hold. Right away, Yoru's going to set up the TP for a fast rotate if need be, so they set up Waylay. And meanwhile, look at this setup from Team Liquid. A smoke and then the snake bite to make sure that there's no push out and that people might be separated if it's a stack. Bane immediately re-clears, and since there's nobody there, DRX looking to go for a push out. They try to check for Nats. They're looking for any lurks. They don't see it. They want to back off. They want to see if maybe there's a lurk coming in from Showers, but they start to hear noise outside of Hookah. Freen gives the call. Immediately, they say this is our chance to tighten the map. They're going to push out. It's a double team. Meanwhile, Yoru is taking a look over at Showers. During this time, Bane is still checking down B long, and Freeing will start to go for the peak. Now, it should be noted, Freeing is the 3rd person with a rifle. These 2 have rifles, and Freeing on the Viper has a rifle. So, giving the idea that we've got, Fade Util coming out here, we've got a rifle in here, there's 0 information that Team Liquid has on A, and so giving off the idea that, hey, we're pretty strong on B despite not having a full buy. But of course, during all of that, DRX, they were trying to figure out, okay, could there be a lurk here or here early on? They go back, they're trying to check for Showers, but immediately they hear noise, and if anything, most importantly, they hear the Viper, right? They heard the Viper orb being put down here. And so Mako decides to make the call, hey, we're going to double up, we're going to push up and tighten the map to get ready for a rotate. Just in case there's somebody here, Flashback is going to be tasked with watching Showers in case there's somebody who's peeking by so they don't get caught by surprise. It all really works out, especially with Freeing taking out Nats. You're more than confident knowing that this rotate is coming through. Mako actually gets a nice triple kill, and then they immediately back off. And during this, Bane has now pushed out of B main since they know that they've gotten contact over by A short. All of this is very fluid, and across the map, everyone communicating and knowing that, okay, what are the possibilities? We're mainly concerned about a lurk. There is no lurk because we know where the Viper is, so now we push out to make sure we take out the possibility of a rotation. When that's happening, you've still got the insurance from Flashback watching for Showers, and then you eventually have Bane pushing out as well to ensure that you always basically keep them in a small little box here on the map. This next round is an interesting one because this time, once again, it's a similar setup, right? Once again, you're going to have the Waylay looking down all the way in Showers, and meanwhile, you have Flashback who sticks around for a nice kill. But during this, if you take a look at the minimap, they're just staying away from the toxic screen, right? They're saying, okay, we don't want to deal with this, right? We already got a kill over on B main. We have full control of Showers, and so we've delayed them here. We'll know if they come for a rotate. if Nats is lurking here, look at how tight Freeing is playing next to Hyunmin. They're just doubled up, making sure that they're covering each other's backs. If Nats goes through here, we're just going to keep him in lamps, right? You don't want to get caught in the idea that we have to fight Nats. If you give it to him, what are they going to do with that space? We still have the better rotates. Of course, it helps that Flashback is hitting these shots, but eventually Freeing actually catches sight of him. And especially with that snakebite, they now know for a fact that Nats is on A. So they go even deeper in towards showers. Now they're just waiting to make sure that he's not peeking out of the smokes. And eventually you say, okay, where else could he have gone? I just need information. Hyunmin checks back sight. He's spotted, and they don't chase him. They hear the spike plant coming through. These guys are focused right on the spike, and everyone just says, keep Nats trapped. We're going to keep him in his own lurk, and he's going to be trapped in until Flashback can come and make sure he's got an angle covered. That way we know that if Nats peeks out, we're going to get the kill. And once again, DRX shuts it down. Now, the very next round, round 18, we have Nats switching it up with the diagonal toxic screen going across a short. And generally, this obviously isn't great for a solo lurk because you'd have to expose yourself before going back in towards the pocket. So this is great for the post plant, right? You can try to hide people here. And of course, it's good for just masking information outside of here. Once you're on the site, it's good for denying any sort of peeks out of lamps. And what does that mean? It means that a big possibility is a potential push through showers, right? That way, if the attackers get control of showers, then they could go for the rotate through TP. They can get the safe plant. You can still have someone hiding here. You're denying any ease of access in the retake through lamps. And so you're just concerned about, okay, is there a lurk on showers? We can actually ignore this part because they're not going to have an easy time getting through it as a solo lurker. So immediately you get the read. We're going to see the setup with the Haunt being used through the TP as well to set up Flashback on the operator. This works out because it's the operator. You know, you're going to have a pretty good early contact. Of course, you have the TP ready as well. Now, they get contact over by B, so they start to back off, but immediately Flashback says, okay, we've held them off. We know that they're not getting through. They use their own orbital strike, so I'll put up the TP, but you guys go, I'm going to stay. And now he's concerned with here because you've already given up showers. You just say, okay, I just want to make sure I'm checking one at a time, see if somebody eventually rotates through, and if not, we're going to be safe. We have 3 members ready to hold off on B after that equal trade. Immediately, DRX goes for the reclear as well. I mean, this part plays out very well as well. They go for the reclear on Hookah. They see that the smokes are coming down, and what a nice clear on the Dizzy. But again, it's a double up. The TP is immediate from Flashback as well, so even if one of them had been taken out early, Flashback was here with an extra angle. You had Mako watching for the drop down from window. It's all very, very well covered throughout every step of this round. Now, the second difference between the two teams was actually a very slight difference in team chemistry. So if you take a look at round 21, the Op's going to be spotted by the Dizzy. Immediately, Kamo comes in, but he's taken out right from the sky. Bane peeks back out of the smoke and takes out Kamo. Now, at first glance, you can just be like, damn, Bane hit a nice shot. Or, you know, maybe if you're on the other side, Bane hit a lucky shot. But why was he allowed to make that shot? Right? These things happen at the highest level. People are really good with their aim. People will get crazy shots. But why was he allowed to go for that alone when there's nobody available to cover him, right? We see on the minimap, Flashback had TP'd all the way back towards CT. He was taking time to rotate back in. You had double smokes. There's nobody else. There's no util. And Bane just decides he's going to peek out alone and go for it. It's a hero play. It's a high-risk play from Bane's POV. Especially, I mean, if he doesn't hit it, he's really screwed. So let's talk about it from Bane's POV real quick. All right, he sees that there's double smokes. There's no coverage for him. There is no way out for him. Because if the raise flies in, he's done for. So as soon as he hears the raise flying in, Bane decides, okay, well, either way, there's a very good likelihood that I'm screwed or I'm kind of just stuck, you know, waiting for a 50-50. So I'm going to peek out and see if I can at least take one with me. You know, if I get lucky, I live. That's Bane's point of view. So why is he allowed to do that? It starts here. You see that there's an operator. So Team Liquid very well aware. The Dizzy eventually gets 2 tags. So the Dizzy notifies you that there's 2 people here near B main. So if you take a look at the minimap, Team Liquid, because there were 2 tags from the Dizzy in 2 different angles, they're now concerned with Garden, right? They're concerned if, you know, whether it's inside Garden, whether it's someone holding here, here, whatever else it might be, and they're holding. And so they're ready to say, okay, we're going to make sure we clear everything step by step. But meanwhile, Kamo is ready to jump onto the site, and he immediately goes in after the paint shells. But the problem here is, even if Kamo hadn't been taken out of the sky, I believe he has a Bucky in this round, if I'm not mistaken. So at best, he survives somewhere here. I mean, yeah, at close range, he probably gets a kill, but he can't peek out freely on this side because you don't have smokes in the back. So you'd have to land somewhere in the smoke play tube. And even then, if you don't get the kill immediately, you're now stuck as well with big question marks all over the site. There's nobody to cover you. And the toxic screen comes up as well. And Team Liquid, the rest of the team seems a little bit taken aback by this toxic screen, but Kamo goes in early. Now, I don't know what the calls were like on Team Liquid's side, but if you're reviewing this round, you realize your buy wasn't great. You only have 2 rifles, right? Otherwise, you've got short range weapons. You've got a Bucky, you've got a Stinger. I mean, Ghost is, I guess, medium range, but not exactly your top choice. So when you consider all of those, Team Liquid had 2 options. Either you're looking to bait out utility, which, I mean, there's no big ults that you're looking for, so I don't think that would have been the right play. Obviously, you looked for the operator, so you took care of step 1. You pushed that out. But afterwards, really your best choice was to just chase with tempo, considering the buy, considering you already, forced the operator back. But because they're just a bit mismatched, whether it's because you got scared of the toxic screen or the comms got jumbled, whatever else it might be, it just ends up with Kamo flying in, allowing Bane to peek out with nobody having vision of him. There's just no possibility for a trade. And then Bane's able to go into safety. The paint shells has already ended. He's going to delay further with the C's, and we'll play it back at full time. And, the mollies, the skills are all coming out very late. The timing just isn't correct, right? Because you're trying to clear out everything in the backside, but the paint shells has already ended. So even if this happens, this is going to prevent backup from coming in, but there could be 1 person here, there could be 2 people here. You're not quite sure. The C's has now slowed you down, and eventually they'll get the spike plant, but it's a bit haphazard. Now, this is the round where Mako gets the crazy defuse on top of the tube, and I want to say that this was also a little bit of not being aligned because the Dizzy actually hits all 3 people. So there just isn't clarity on, with our weapons, should we going past the toxic screen because we know Dizzy hit all 3? Or are we just going to try to play post plant? It seems like they were a little bit mismatched there as we see Bane getting very excited. But those are just good examples of Team Liquid. They had a couple of these rounds. I'm not saying they were playing completely messy, but again, 1 more of these rounds, 2 more of these rounds. That's what makes a difference at the highest level. But let's take a look at DRX. We're going to take a look at round 9. Take a look at the minimap. To start, Nats has had the Vipers pit up. DRX not going to challenge that. They've decided to re-clear the other side of the map. They don't really have much information. This has been smoked off in the early portion of the round. So DRX has a lot to re-clear if they want to work on B. So first off, they're just going to check to see if anyone's going for any jiggle peeks over on Hookah. They won't spot that. You're still making noise and saying, hey, we might still consider pit as a last resort. This ties up at least 1 person to watch showers. You know that that's going to happen because you're not going to leave Nats open, and Nats needs to stay in the pit. So now it's 3 members over here, and just to go for the clear, the Waylay jumps in, hinders first, and then they've got a 3-way crossfire set up. Watch that in slow motion. And then the Nightfall as well, which I think is great. You all get into the smoke that's just been redeployed, and the Waylay starts the dash. So the Waylay's going to go high in case there's, somebody here or maybe somebody, on this corner that's going to be watching. That doesn't happen. The Waylay's going to land. He goes for the quick check on this angle. Once that's clear, 2 people have now exited the smoke as well. So DRX takes control of B main. During all of this, good jump, good movement on the Waylay, right? Immediate jump to use that momentum to gain a little bit more distance and make it hard to hit him. But he's going to spot Trex. The Dizzy comes out. And so instead of engaging, Hyunmin's going to play it safe. He throws the hinder. He knows he's hit him 100%. Dizzy gets taken out by Flashback. And as the Waylay comes back in, look at the minimap. Flashback's already ahead of it, watching into Garden. Meanwhile, Bane... Oh, let me get my arrows straight. Bane is watching into the site. Patatek goes for the cross, but they've already made it past. Bane still has his eyes on here while Flashback's watching, and now slowly Bane's going to look into Garden as well, as you have Mako now setting up for the crossfire as well. They go past it. 2 people going for that. Patatech tries to trade it, but then there's a third and in fact a fourth as well. During all of that, flashback, TP's back out as well. It's so many layers, right? They're ready for the trade. They're ready for Team Liquid to try to trade it. So they always make sure that they have 1, 2, 3 extra people that are willing to peek off of the one play where Waylay confirms 100% that they can get 1 kill, but they don't tunnel vision on it. And just another example, and part of this is me just gushing over the Waylay, because if you follow my channel, you know that I'm a big Waylay advocate, and I'm personally very happy that they're playing Waylay Euro, because I think that is one of the best combos you can have with Waylay, and I think it's very strong in the current meta. But this is another example of using that Waylay. But my point is, what I want everyone to focus on is the fact that, okay, the Waylay goes in, how you're using the Waylay is great, but how are you supplementing that to make sure that you are getting positive net positive value off of that move? So this is the last round of the first half. Team Liquid, as you can see here, are going for a strong pinch early on in mid, right? You're going to send out the Seekers, the Guiding Light. It pushes everybody in. So DRX, they start just saying, okay, we got to pick up the speed. They're closing in on us. We need to push through. You go for a quick run up all the way through Garden. During this, the Snakebite has been launched. It lands. Hyunmin goes past, checks Garden, sees 2. He lands deep so that he's not in danger of those in Garden. During this, smokes are going down so that he's not in danger of, a quick peek out from either of these angles. Now, he is a little bit open, so there's some danger there, but he lands, and, of course, the flank is already getting kills from Team Liquid. And once again, he's doing the whole bunny hop right as he lands. He's spotted them. The Snakebite has them pinched as well, and so he throws the Saturate into Garden. And then he'll immediately refract back out. During this, Bane is ready to see if they try to chase. So he's already holding an angle, but he's not going too greedy. Now, he's taken some damage, but the Hinder keeps them tied up. So Team Liquid is currently stuck here. Bane purposely waits. He goes back in behind the wall and then gets ready to wide swing for Hyunmin. Bane actually gets both. But again, it's not just the fact that, hey, I got the Hinder, Bane, you should go for the kills. It's just Bane holding. So the step-by-step here is it's Hyunmin, right? Number 1 is Hyunmin, goes in and gets info, goes for the Hinder. Backs out, sets up for Bane. Bane is step 2. Bane takes a little bit of damage. He goes for a little bit of trade. He doesn't get the instant kill. He doesn't greed for it. He backs back out, waits for Hyunmin, right? And then once Hyunmin's ready and the refract is finished, Bane now goes back, because especially he's forward, but he's also lower health, and he goes for the wide swing, and Hyunmin's there. Bane eventually gets the kill, but you see what I mean. There's layers upon layers upon layers upon layers, and during this, they start working hookah as well. So DRX, they had a lot of these moments, and Team Liquid obviously played well as well. This was a close match, right? It was very back and forth. But my point is, when it's back and forth like this, if you only focus on the last mistake that you did or that one clutch that you gave up, that's not what actually made the difference, because the likelihood of that happening is determined by how many more rounds you have that are cleaner in terms of chemistry and teamwork to set yourselves up for a success, to have more fail-safes. And of course, you can say that I cherry-picked these rounds, but I think also, considering that DRX is bringing out this comp that we haven't seen DRX play, they had a little bit of that surprise factor, but it was also quite well drilled in that they had enough of these moments where they can say, this fight, we know we're winning. And a lot of other times, they shut down one of the biggest X factors on Team Liquid, which was going to be that lurk from Nats. These are some of the things that I think a lot of us should start paying more attention to when you're watching, right? Instead of just lamenting that one move. Why did that move happen? Why was it able to, get to that point at all? And considering the absolute bangers we've had in the first 2 days of Champions, I think there's going to be plenty more examples to dig into throughout this entire tournament. So that's going to be it for this one. I've been loving every single match from Champions so far, and we've still got 2 more groups to go through. So hope everyone's looking forward to that. Of course, if you watched this match and this video, let me know who was your MVP in this match between DRX and Team Liquid. And of course, we'll be watch partying the remaining days of Champions as well. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel for the live notifications, or also you can tune in over on Twitch. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.